Honey processed coffee. What on earth is it? It's a term that conjures up sweet, sticky images, but what does it actually mean? Does it taste like honey? Is honey used in the process? Today, we're diving into the delicious world of honey processed coffee, a method that's as intriguing as its name, and it might be changing the coffee world. Hi, my name's Lizzie and I'm all about helping you make better coffee at home and see coffee for more than just caffeine. If that's something you're interested in, then hit the subscribe button. Let's start with the origins. Honey processed coffee comes from Central America, specifically Costa Rica, which seems to be the birthplace of this process. It first emerged in the 70s, which is relatively new when you consider that people have been drinking coffee since the 15th century. From Costa Rica, it spread, and other coffee-producing countries around that area soon started to experiment with this technique. But what's behind this intriguing name? Well, imagine a coffee cherry. Much like a tiny fruit, inside there's a seed, which we call the coffee bean. Now, wrapped around this bean is a sticky, sweet layer. It's almost like the flesh of a fruit, except it's a lot more gooey, sweet and sticky, a lot like honey. This is called the mucilage. In the honey process, we gently remove the cherry's outer skin, but leave this gooey layer cuddling the beans as it dries in the sun. This sweet, sticky layer is why we call it honey process. Not because we add honey, but because this layer is as sweet and sticky as honey itself. It's the secret to honey processed coffee's unique taste. So how is it different from other ways of processing coffee? Well, unlike the washed process where the bean is completely cleaned of this sticky layer, or the natural process where the bean dries inside the whole cherry, the honey process strikes a delightful balance in between the washed and natural. It's like the Goldilocks of the coffee world. The magic of the honey process lies in how the sticky layer, drying in the sun, transforms the bean. So now we know the foundations of honey coffee, let's go a little deeper. There are 3 types of honey coffee: yellow, red, and black. The amount of water pressure used during the depulping stage dictates the amount of mucilage, which results in the kind of honey you receive: black, red, and yellow. Starting with yellow honey, the beans are turned more frequently on the drying beds, allowing for a faster drying time. This method uses the highest amount of water pressure during depulping and leaves just a thin layer of mucilage, resulting in a coffee with hints of sweetness and fruit, maintaining a closeness to washed coffee's clean taste. As we move to red honey coffee, the plot thickens, or should we say the mucilage does. Less water pressure means more mucilage remains and a slower drying process. This gives us a coffee with bolder fruit flavours and a syrupy body, a step closer to the natural process without crossing the line. And finally, there's black honey. These beans are cloaked in their mucilage, dried the longest, often under shade, which nurtures a deep, complex sweetness. This method uses very little water pressure, just enough to remove the skin, but leaving a lot of mucilage behind. It gives us a coffee with winey, boozy notes and a jammy, creamy body. As the beans dry, the sugars in the mucilage ferment slightly, giving the coffee its unique flavours and a body that can range from lightly sweet and smooth to rich and complex. This controlled fermentation is an art, a delicate balance maintained by skilled farmers. These guys have been doing it for years and it shows. They know exactly what they're looking for, when to turn the beans, how much mucilage to leave on. It's what gives the honey processed coffee its signature profile, distinct from the more traditional washed or natural methods. So whilst there's no actual honey used, the name captures the essence of the process. By the way, if you want to taste some honey processed coffee, I'll put a link to a couple down in the description. We currently have 20% off subscriptions, so just use the code on the screen and the link in the description. Now, we mentioned how the farmers have a knack for seeing when to turn the beans in the sun to dry them. This crucial process is where the magic happens, influencing everything from aroma to taste. Drying is not just about moisture removal, it's about crafting character. The choice of method can significantly affect the coffee's final flavour profile, be it open air, on tarp-covered patios, or within the controlled climate of greenhouses. The gentle fermentation that occurs transforms the simple sugars into complex flavours. Now, let's talk about the second part of this process: roasting. As coffee roasters, we want to make sure the farmer's hard work is preserved and shines through, which is why typically honey processed coffee is going to be roasted relatively lightly to keep all of those delicious flavours and fresh acidity. By roasting too dark, you remove the sweetness and acidity, and it kind of makes the whole process pointless. You'll probably notice a bigger flavour difference between light roasts as opposed to dark roasts, as a lighter roast preserves the coffee's natural characteristics. Now, let's talk brewing. Yellow honey coffee, with its mild fruitiness, offers a flavour reminiscent of the crisp notes found in washed coffees. A Chemex or a V60 will highlight the delicate flavours of yellow honey coffee, with a medium grind and water at around 200 Fahrenheit to ensure a balanced extraction. This method allows the coffee's natural sweetness and lighter fruit notes to shine, crafting a cup that's both refreshing and nuanced. Red honey coffee features more pronounced fruit flavours and bolder sweetness. Again, using a V60 for red honey coffee allows its vibrant fruitiness and syrupy body to shine. A slightly finer grind with your water temperature still at 200 Fahrenheit should bring about the most flavour. The strongest honey coffee flavours comes from black honey coffee. Again, you could use a pour over method, but I'd recommend experimenting with a French press or an AeroPress. This will enable a fuller extraction that complements its more dense flavours. Go for a medium grind and water just off the boil. I'll put a link around this video to our French press recipe video. Honey processed coffee stands out as a testament to innovation and balance. But look, coffee is a personal journey. The best coffee for you depends on what you like. Honey processed coffee is just another unique little corner of the coffee world to explore. And I encourage you to explore, experiment, and try some different coffees because it's a fascinating world. As always, if there's any content you'd like to see, drop us a message down in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.